I had no idea the surprise I would find out about my family history that day. It was a nice summer's day. We were driving from the Outer Banks to Raleigh, North Carolina. We approached a sign saying Bentonville Battlefield State Historic Site, next exit. Having some extra time before our plane took off, we took the exit onto the country road to see the battlefield. I didn't know much about this Civil War battle and how I was personally connected to it, but I was about to find out. The past speaks to us. Let's go see what it has to say. So we're in North Carolina and we're on our way to Bentonville Battleground. And here is your North Carolina tobacco on the way in. You've never seen a tobacco plant before.
Raleigh used to be the tobacco capital of the U.S. I imagine it still is.
Yeah.
That's where Winston and Marlboro and everybody's from.
Isn't it funny? And Mr. Georgia next to me gets his accent going when he comes to North Carolina.
Oh, you bet. I could change it anywhere we go, or I could talk like this. South Georgia, we just love the Cotters. Yeah, Jimmy Cotter, he was a friend of mine. Used to grow them peanuts. Have a good old time. Them Cotters.
It's pretty. All right. So it looks like there's some graves here. At Bentonville, from March 19th to the 21st of 1865, Confederate General Joseph E. Johnson and what remained of the Confederate Army attacked Union General William T. Sherman's army in what was the last large-scale battle of the Civil War. The Union Army was victorious. After the defeat, Johnson and his army moved further into North Carolina and surrendered a month later at Benton Place outside of Durham. The war was soon declared over. So unfortunately, just before we came here about a week ago, they closed down the house because it's being redone. It's renovated. As you can see, it needs much work. But I was reading that they converted this into a hospital, the battle, and that these were houses for the enslaved people of this site. But yeah, this house is definitely in need of.
This is the Harper House.
The Harper House. And then these buildings were
Housing for the enslaved.
yeah, for the enslaved. Kind of like this lock. This actually was the kitchen, I guess, for the household. It gets very hot in North Carolina, so they always separated the kitchen. Not to mention they didn't want the smell and the heat in the house because it gets so hot here in the summer. So this one must be well. And it looks like there's a grave out there. We're gonna walk out there. Yeah, this was. So it says, enslaved people of Harper's Farm. Though not an original, this building represents a Civil War era slave dwelling. Like the kitchen, it was probably moved into place around 1900. During the battle, enslaved individuals were freed by the Union Army enforcing the Emancipation Proclamation. Many newly freed people attempted following Sherman's army, though he sought to prevent this, citing logistical concerns. While it is unclear where the people formerly enslaved by Harper's reside following emancipation. The 1870 census shows several black, in quotes, Harpers residing a few miles away. Their names and ages indicate that some of them, many have been enslaved on this farm. So it says 1860 enslaved population, John Harper Farm 3, Riddick Morris Farm 9, Willis Coal Plantation 23. Average enslaver in North Carolina 9.5. Research implies the 3 enslaved by the Harpers in 1860 were likely Lucy, age 37, Alexander, 21, and Clarissa, 19. There's like a grave sitting out here. Right out there.
There's somebody fell everywhere you step.
Yeah, there's like 13 miles of battlefield. They have like a 14-mile audio tour, but I don't think we're going to be doing the audio tour. We're just walking the grounds at the moment. Something was there.
Used to be a shed or something.
Like a shed.
Some kind of structure.
So there's a bunch of turkey vultures circling this grave. Can you see them in the air? There's like 5 of them. 6 of them actually. So I found out who's buried in that sole grave out in the field. His name was Samuel Thornton. He was the owner of the Harper House after them, and he was kind of an eccentric guy and wanted to be buried in his field. So we didn't walk out to his grave because the grass was pretty tall. It's summertime, and God knows what's in that grass. So we decided not to walk out there. But anyways, we are walking out to the Soldiers Cemetery and the Harpers Cemetery. And so the Union soldiers left about 20 Confederate soldiers behind that were so wounded they couldn't be transported or leave on their own after they surrendered. So they left them in the Harper's care, and they're buried right over here. So we're going to walk over there. Now, too, if you're a Hollywood fan of classic old-time Hollywood, Ava Gardner is buried very close to here, about 26 miles away. And there's also an Ava Gardner Museum. So that's in Smithfield. And, you know, you might as well. I don't know if we're going to have time to go over there, but if we do, you know we will. All right, so there's several memorials. I can see military headstones right here. Now, if you weren't aware, any military headstone that has a point on the top is Confederate. Anything that's rounded on the top is Union. Now, I asked the gentleman in the visitor center if there were any Union soldiers here, and he said no, but yet I'm seeing the rounded tops right there, along with the pointed ones. So we'll see what they say the closer we get. So this memorial, just to the left of the Confederate soldiers' memorials, this one says, in memory of Union soldiers of the 14th, 15th, 17th, and 20th Corps who served during the Battle of Bentonville, March 19th to 21st, 1865. So these are their symbols: acorn, a symbol that says U.S. something on it, and then the arrow and the star, representing the states of Alabama, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Michigan. I'm hesitating because I'm reading where my third-time great-grandfather, he was from, I was trying to remember what corps he was in, and he might have been here. Anyways, there's Minnesota, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. This is so cool. I went over to those memorials over there, and I saw that there was the Iowa infantry here in Missouri, and my great-great-great-grandfather was a sergeant in the Iowa infantry. So I was like, was he here? So I just went in, and sure enough, he fought in this battle here for the Union Army. I am really stoked. It really put a pin on the map for me.
Sherman's army, when they're coming up to Bentonville, are traveling in two wings. The left wing is what is engaged initially on the 19th. The right wing, which is what your ancestor is in, they go past Bentonville, and then the left wing calls for help and says, hey, we need help. The right wing circles back and comes to Bentonville on the end of the first day, on the end of the 19th, and they are here from the 20th to the 21st.
Oh my goodness.
So he would certainly have been here. Let me see, the 30th Ohio, the 30th Iowa is going to be right here. They're going to be attacking Hoke's division, Kirkland's brigade.
Oh my goodness, I am taken back. I just had no idea.
65. So after Sherman's army, they fight here, they go to Durham where Johnson surrenders, and then they march into Washington, D.C., and they do like a large parade for the people. Your army is here, or the victors, and then that's when he's mustered out after that parade.
Oh, I'm speechless.
That's pretty cool. We're always glad to be able to hook people up with their ancestors and where they were.
And it's all because I looked at that memorial, and when I saw that it was Iowa and Missouri, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Was my third-time great-grandfather here?
There you go.
Oh,
congratulations. Hello, Mr. Stubbs.
So I just can't tell you how excited I am that I just found out that my great-grandfather was here, Sergeant James Stubbs with the Union Army. What do I tell my family that I just discovered this being here? So straight ahead, that was part of the battlefield right ahead there. You've got a Confederate flag at the end there. And no matter what your views are, this was a civil war. And be respectful, no matter what your beliefs are. People are people. This is history, and we're here because of the history. So this looks like it's the Harper Cemetery, because we have Amy Ann Harper, and I'm not going to walk in here. They have the gate closed, even though there's not a sign saying that you can't. But I want to be respectful. So there's John Harper. So this was the mom. She died she was born in 1820, died in 1900. This was the dad, John Harper. He was born in 1803, died in 1897. Then there's another John Harper, and that must be his dad, because this says, in memory of Anna Harper, wife of John Harper, and she was born in 1770 and died in 18, I can't read it from here, so I'll walk a little closer. So this is one of the sites where she said my grandfather was. I am so excited about this. So that means he was, this is the Moore's farm. That means he was fighting here. Oh my goodness, this is just so amazing to me. All right, so this, I think that the Confederates had, that they kind of had taken this area here, and that's why we have the Confederate flag flying. This statue is of General Johnson. It's tobacco crops. This house has two monuments. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, it says no trespassing, but I thought this was part of the tour, so maybe not. So this site was the first site she had circled on the map of where my great-grandfather fought, and this is called the merging of the Union armies tour stop. So all around here the armies came together. The Union armies came together, they merged. So here's the right wing, here's Sherman.
And these are all commanding officers.
So if my grandfather was with the right wing, he was fighting next to Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You got, but all these guys were Sherman's generals or lieutenants.
Right.
All these big names here, and they were in charge of a certain amount of men. So, but it was Sherman's army. He ran everybody.
We're here, standing right here. So they would have been...
Looks like we need to go up the road to the next one.
Yeah, they came from this direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just like you were saying, if my grandfather would have died in this battle, I wouldn't be here.
That's what I said.
Standing on this spot right now. You know, I say this a lot, but when you're visiting historical sites or any kind of state site in North Carolina, always make sure that you plan accordingly, because they're only open from Tuesday to Saturday. They're closed on Sundays to Mondays, and that's kind of bit us a few times. I actually purposely planned this trip Wednesday to Wednesday so we could actually visit several sites, because I knew they'd be closed if I planned it a different way. So just plan accordingly.
Plan accordingly.
Plan accordingly.